Redemption online.
Plus, hey Bucky, let's make a
Because
boxing
it's
match.
that
Hell yeah, you one of those? Alright, gotcha.
Dragon Ball Z fighters is a big wait time for fighting online.
American politicians are just an embarrassment. We don't have to proceed on this one. There's some hard feelings with Penn.
President Bradford.
Yes.
I'm a heterosexual. I have a wife. I love my wife. I don't like men, as you might, but don't stop touching.
American politicians are just an embarrassment. We don't have to proceed on this one. There's some hard feelings with Penn.
President Bradford.
Yes.
I'm a heterosexual. I have a wife. I love my wife. I don't like men, as you might, but don't stop touching me all the time. Like, keep your hands to yourself. Like, if you want to touch somebody, you have people on your side of the aisle that might like it. I don't.
Okay. Chairman. Chairman. Yeah, I don't like being touched by strangers either. It's a thing. But I almost like to flip out and start calling everyone gay. I'm not gay. You're gay. Your whole family's gay. I had sex with my wife once. That's how not gay I am. Fucking grow up and be a professional, man. Trust me, I roast people for a living, and calling someone gay is not an insult. It's like some Facebook boomer shit. It's embarrassing. This woman's face says it all. Before you say anything, no, I don't care which political party they're in. American political parties are a Harry Potter sorting hat for used car salesmen. Democrat. American politicians are just an embarrassment. We don't. What the heck? What is this, Microsoft? I just bought you out. Now come over here. Hey, Bethesda, cat. Ooh, free money. We have a lot more money to spend if we need more games for Game Pass. Oh, hello there, Activision. Ooh, I love money. Oh, and bring your friend Blizzard over here, too. Hey, Blizzard, the money's this way. Yes. Now come over here, my Game Pass slaves. Hey, EA, you're next. You'll never buy me out. Never. Oh, yeah? We'll see about that. Ha, gotcha. Bonnie. But it's so hard to resist. But I can't. All right, fine.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Naked grandma! Naked, huh? Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Naked grandma! Naked, huh? Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Naked grandma! Naked, huh? Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Naked grandma! Naked, huh?
think I'm gonna take a killing job today.
The Italian sent a letter. Says you gotta trade some Capitale for it. Gesture of goodwill. You've been doing good for me. Almost too good. Yeah. What? New work. Maybe get some of your Capitale. All right. Here's a little something. A homestead. Not much to look at from the outside, but don't be fooled. This nest got a golden egg. Some of your damn Capitale, too. Just gotta have the stomach to take it. Now, I bet you're wanting Joe to tell you the folks there is a bad bunch, deserving of your judgment.
They're not.
Truth is, I don't know a damn thing about him. You just tell yourself whatever little story you need to get the job done. On you go.
You slow as molasses.
I'm gonna bury you shallow. Look around. You're surrounded.
I'm gonna make you
Look out! Ways all around you.
Come on! Let me go! Gonna blow you!
Get rag!
Sorry up your corpse. Big shit, regret this.
Leave this to the law. Be about your business.
about and drop them. You can hide there forever. You stuck here now.
Ah. What you want, Mama?
went back and you were doing things around his house, was the agreement that that work would be to pay off this $300 in interest he was charging you?
Oh, there wasn't a specified amount.
It was a specified amount. I just actually
So,
some of those jobs
wait,
that I was
I want to make sure I understand this. So, he was supposed to do work around the house to pay off what exactly?
And instead of paying the 25% interest that he's paying every week or every month for the pawn shop.
You asked him to do extra things around your house in exchange for interest on the loan that you gave him.
Right.
I just asked you how much interest, and you said there's no set amount.
We had a very, 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 it was very, everything was very informal.
You're a tax attorney. You deal with numbers all day. You can't even tell me how much interest you were charging him so he could know how much interest he's working off?
I'm paying him money no matter what he does.
One thing that I am concerned about, do you have a proof that you paid someone? How did you pay this receipt that you gave me? It's a computer printout.
Right.
Computer-generated document.
I always get cash in my hand. This is my cash.
I love how I have a tax attorney in my courtroom with the worst evidence I've probably ever seen. You have no written contract for this loan.
That's right.
And Mr. Smith, you know you come into court and tell me it's not required by law. What? It's not required. Oral contracts are completely enforceable, but you have the burden of proof in your case, so you're just fortunate enough that he came in and said, hey, well, you know, he did loan me the money.
Yeah.
And then you want money for attorney's fees. Sir. Don't tell me you're asking for your own fee.
100%.
You understand that this is small claims court.
I understand exactly where we
So
are.
you cannot be represented by an attorney when you come in here. Just because you are an attorney doesn't mean you can charge for yourself, sir. When did this contractor finish your bathroom?
2 months ago, maybe? I let it sit for a while. He could have come by and done it anytime he wanted to.
And on the flip side of that, sir, you admit that you didn't finish up painting the baseboards and all the trim in the bathroom, right? Sir, okay. And so, based on the evidence, you're the one that stopped the communication when he started asking you to pay him back all of the money. If you didn't have it or you felt like he was disrespecting you, that's not a legal defense for you not paying back money that's due to the plaintiff. So how much of the $1,500 did you pay back? How much did he pay back?
$100-something.
You can't, Mr. Smith, have someone working around your house for interest without telling them how much that interest is going to be. Because as you know, there's only a certain amount of interest you can charge for personal loans. You know it. You know the law. Based on all the testimony I've heard here today, sir, and your admission in court that you borrowed this money and agreed to pay it back, you're going to have to pay back the plaintiff. I find your defense of him disrespecting you to be insufficient. $1,200 is how much you owe.
It makes sounds when I do something. Like, do this.
Give me the gummies and the little muddy buddy.
That one too. I like them.
You need the gummies and the little muddy buddy.
Wait, you mean these?
I think the judge was fair.
No.
I'm a little disappointed that she didn't give me a
This
check.
other one? I don't know what you mean.
The bags of checkmates.
Oh. You mean the brownie one?
Not the brownie one.
My bad.
The cookies.
Oh. Yeah.
Or the regular one.
Huh?
That one, yes. Right here.
I was thinking yeah. Because you might say the other one. That one too?
On what?
With the gummies.
No, stop eating on my gummies. Get you a high shoe.
I like high shoes. Okay. Here you go. I'm gonna get this high shoe. Okay, I can take this too.
You did it! You really did it! I knew I could trust you this time.
How many did you get? Come back here.
I got this too.
Put it back.
You said or else I'll take it to court. I said,
Put one back. No one said two. You said one. Get one and be done with it. Go on.
and I will see you later.
You're doing too much.
Okay, so what is your defense then? Your defense is you felt him like he insulted you.
Coming up, the issue of interest on the loan is called into question.
I just asked you how much interest, and you said there's no set amount. So how does he know how much work he's supposed to be doing for how much interest on this loan?
And please, call around.
Amount. Contracts are completely enforceable, but you have the burden of proof in your case. So you're just fortunate enough that he came in and said, hey, well, you know, he did loan me the money. Yeah. And then you want money for attorney fees. Sir. Don't tell me you're asking for your own fees. You understand this is small claims court, right? So you cannot be represented by an attorney when you come in here. Just because you are an attorney doesn't mean you can charge for yourself, sir. When did this contractor finish your bathroom?
2 months ago, maybe. I've been to sit for a while. He could have come by and done it anytime he wanted to.
And on the flip side of that, sir, you admit that you didn't finish a certain amount of interest you can charge for personal loans. You know it. You know the law. Based on all the testimony I've heard here today, sir, and your admission in court that you borrowed this money and agreed to pay it back, you're going to have to pay back the plaintiff. I find your defense of him disrespecting you to be insufficient. $1,200, that's how much you owe on the loan, in addition to the $250 you paid to have the bathroom finished. Household expenses, phone bills, you say you paid his probation, you paid for car damages, you paid car payments for him, and it's totaled over $8,000 over the last few years, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you tell me how you know the defendant and what's going on here?
Approximately about 2012, a mutual friend of ours called and asked about him needing a roommate, asked me if I needed a roommate, and he was just down on his luck, so I agreed to say, come on, you can rent my basement. I give you a few months to get on your feet, and then you got to start paying rent. Well,
Who was living with you at the time?
me and my children,
How many?
2.
How old are they?
They're 11 and 9.
Okay.
And during the time, he was having a hard time down on his luck. He was between jobs. He
What's
worked.
in the basement? A bedroom or a totally separate living area?
Just an unfinished basement. We put down a bed. I made sure there was bed, there was cable, there was couches. We still had
You weren't at all concerned about a man you don't know moving into your house with your 2 young kids?
a mutual friend that we had. I've known for years and really trusted that, and
You trusted your mutual friend?
yes.
Okay. And what was he agreeing in terms of rent?
That he would pay for rent, food, personal items,
How much a month?
$600 a month.
Okay. And did you put that in writing or was it just a verbal agreement?
At the time, I did not put it in writing. It was a verbal agreement.
Okay. So tell me what was going on with you at the time.
At the time, I did have a job.
What were you doing for work?
I was a supervisor at a warehouse.
At any point did you fall behind on your rent?
Yeah, I did.
And that was in
That was-
2013.
Yes.
So in 2013, you know at this point he's falling behind on his rent. He doesn't have a lot of money. He's up and down in the job market. Am I correct? How do you then loan him over $2,800 for a cell phone bill, the home phone bill? You pay his probation for a DUI?
Yes, ma'am.
You pay that as well, you claim. You pay over $1,900 for damages to his car. I just don't understand why you say you're lending him all of this money when this is clearly someone who's broke.
Coming up on Judge Faye, the former roommates find out the hard way not to mix money with friendship.
I was trying to help him out. He was good with my kids, and he was really good. I really thought he was going to really work out.
If he wasn't working, how are you expecting him to pay $600 a month?
Like many of us, your credit might not be perfect. You might have had a setback in life and it hurt your credit. Or maybe you're just starting out. No matter where you are in life, there's a pathway to better credit. It's called the Open Sky Secured Visa Credit Card. The Open Sky Secured Visa Credit Card is an excellent way to build or reestablish credit. And best of all, it works like a traditional credit card. You Start by providing a refundable security deposit that becomes the credit limit for your new card. That means if you deposit as little as $200, you have a $200 credit limit to spend on everyday purchases. Your on-time payments and good credit behavior is then reported to all 3 major credit bureaus, taking you one step closer to better credit. Take that first step now and apply. OpenSkyCC.com.
Plaintiff Robin Gray says Mike is a user who owes her money. She's suing for back rent, phone bills, food, car damages, and car payments. Defendant Mike Gomez says he doesn't owe because Robin is trying to extort money from him.
So he was down on his luck. He didn't have a place to live. He wasn't working. How were you expecting him to pay $600 a month?
Because he just got a job. That's why I gave him 2 months to sit there and try to get on his feet so that he could eventually pay me.
Okay.
He did start paying, but at the time, he ended up being 2 to 3, 4 months behind because I was trying to help him out. He was good with my kids, and he was really good. I really thought he was going to really work out.
What happened with the DUI?
I got stuff for DUI.
Yeah,
I did 30 days in jail, and then I have to pay fines.
You pled guilty to the DUI?
I did.
Was it your first DUI?
Yeah, the second one.
Second one?
Yes,
Spent 30 days in jail. Was your license taken away?
it was.
And why did you pay the fines?
Because I figured if he worked and got on his feet that he would pay me. And so I kept thinking in my mind that, he's trying, he's going to come up with the money, he's going to. When he got the DUI, I thought, okay, if I help get his license back, that means he can go to work. That means he can pay me.
If someone gets a DUI, I would never in a million years pay the fine for them. You know why? Because they have to learn their lesson about drinking and driving. That's not on you to pay that. Why would you pay that? It's his second DUI. His second DUI, he's in jail. You pay your own fine. What happened with the car? What's your reason now for loaning him money for a car? It's 2015 at this point. He hasn't paid you back. It's not your responsibility to find a way for him to be able to go to work. He's a grown man. You have 2 children. The reason why I'm coming down on you about this is because you have 2 kids that you have to take care of, and you cannot take the responsibility for a grown man for over the course of over 2 years. He doesn't have a steady income or a steady job. And he gets a DUI. He's drinking. He has time to hang out with his buddies. Once I can understand you helping him out, but continuing to do this, you have to own some of the responsibility of this for yourself. How does he owe you $215 for a loan and the check bounced?
He wrote me a check, and he stopped payment, and it bounced, yes.
Why'd you do that?
She took the car away, so why should I pay for a car payment that was taken away from me?
So when were you going to send her the money for the other $2,400 that you acknowledge you owed? That was the next check you were going to write?
No, I told her that what I can afford is I can give her $100 a month, and she didn't want to go. She said no. I'm offering to pay it back.
Yeah.
That's what I can afford. So
and she's turning it down. She's told you, I don't want you to pay me $100 a month. That's not good enough. So in your mind, to you, that says, looks like I'm good.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
She's turning down the money. At this point, you are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Okay?
No,
that's what you're thinking? Because if she said that to you, you know why she said that to you? Because she's telling you that's not enough. That's not enough of an effort. Did you tell him that?
I told him that it's not enough for money to pay.
Look at there. So what you gonna do, Mr. Gomez? You owe her money. What's your defense for not paying you?
I was offering to give her.
Have you given her any money since you stopped the payment on this check?
No, I haven't.
There you go. Doesn't look like you're paying it, sir. Doesn't look like you're even trying to pay it. The last attempt you made to give her money, you stopped payment on the check. So here's what we're going to do. Obviously, you're not going to be awarded over $8,000 here today because you know you already made the agreement, right? We're here today because we haven't lived up to your part of the agreement. That's what I'm here to deal with. understand?
Right.
Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want me to go back through 2 years of household expenses, food, phone bills. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to deal with the things that we dealt with in court today because, you know, you have to take some responsibility in this as well because at some point when someone is not paying you back and you keep giving them money and you say, oh, because I want him to continue working, you have to make a judgment call, right? This is someone who has a debt. He's not paying it back. I should not be giving him more money. So you have to take your part in your responsibility in this too because as they say, you don't throw good money after bad. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So here's what we're going to do. The 2 expenses that we covered here today that he concedes he owes for, one of those being back rent and includes the household expenses because of the way you lump the rent together, and the second being the fine for the DUI. So I'm going to award you a judgment today, ma'am, for a total of $2,400. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,400. Good luck.
I want to say to Mike that I hope you learn that you can't take advantage of people and not good gestures, and I hope that you do better in your own life.
Sorry for whatever happened, and it is, you know, for the outcome and everything, and I'm glad you're happy with what you got.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court. Facebook, and then buys her a car?
I thought she was pretty attractive, so I would contact her through the inbox.
He didn't buy the car, he co-signed for the car.
How many times have you seen her in person, met her before buying a car from her?
And later, a sister battles her brother in court after he fails to repair her roof.
My brother said, well, I would like the job. He said he's done many roofs. He's had a lot of experience on doing roofs.
You don't know what I've been through with these people.
I went to Bible study yesterday, and I'm not going to go there today.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a top New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent said he co-signed on a car with her. And now, she's messed up his good credit. He's suing for various expenses related to a car he purchased. Lieutenant Cherie Hodge says she doesn't owe any money because Lasan overreacted when she missed a payment and took the car back.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Boyd versus Harvey.
Lasan Boyd,
Yes, ma'am.
you are suing the defendant, Cherie Hodge, for $1,997. You say she owes you for various expenses related to the car you purchased.
Yes.
So I just want to break down your lawsuit. You charged $772 for a tow and ticket.
Yes.
$375 to replace a mirror that was broken on the car.
Yes.
$200 in partial car payment and insurance, and $650 for missed work.
Yes.
So as I understand it, the two of you met on Facebook around November 2013.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
We were talking for a little while. Facebook, I never met her, like, actually in person. I thought she was pretty attractive, so I would contact her through the inbox and see if she wanted to hang out.
Okay.
So sometime in March, we seen each other on the train for the first time.
You just ran into each other randomly.
And
And you recognized her from her Facebook photo.
yes.
Wow.
So we didn't say anything to each other that day.
You didn't say anything to each other on the train?
No, we
Did
actually.
you see him on the train? And you knew he was a Facebook friend that you've been talking to? And you told me you just didn't say a word.
I actually texted her through the Facebook.
So after the fact, you said, I just saw you on the train.
No, I said, is that you? And she responded. She said, if I'm cute, then yes. If not, then no.
So you guys are on the train, right into each other on Facebook.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
This is the way people communicate these days. They feel comfortable texting and communicating everything on the phone. So there you are, you see her in person, and you decide you're just gonna send her a DM on Facebook.
yes.
Let's fast forward to next year, not even a year later, July of 2014, you buy this car for her, right?
Yes.
How many times had you seen her in person, met her before buying a car for her?
I seen her twice.
Twice. So you guys didn't have anything going on at that point when you bought the car? Okay, so what does that mean? Were the two of you romantically involved? We were. So you liked her and the two of you had something going on? Because that's the only way this makes sense.
I wouldn't say we had anything going on because I seen her twice. And basically it was just like I seen you twice.
So here we are. You saw her twice. You bought her car in July of 2014. What was the agreement about the car? And why couldn't she buy her own car?
Her credit wasn't good enough.
Oh, so that's a good reason for you to buy someone else's car. They don't pay their bills. They don't have good credit. And let me put my name on the line, right?
I bought my car as in the process of me buying the car, the dealer tells me that if I refer someone that they will pay me $500. So she contacts the dealership. The guy tells her your credit isn't good enough, but if I help her
As in co-sign?
as a co-sign,
You get a car.
I can get the car. So I go down there.
And you agreed to do that?
I agreed to co-sign. I didn't know that they was gonna actually make me sign for the whole car.
And you say absolutely not, right?
No, I didn't.
What'd you say?
I said yes.
Okay. I like Cherie and I want her to be my girlfriend.
Coming up, love is blind and expensive.
A few months down the line, I told him, like, I wouldn't be able to keep up with it because it was, it was becoming a lot.
Was she late on her payments?
Every month.
And later, a family is divided over a dispute about a roof repair job.
Did he ever do the job?
He did not do the job.
job. You did a small area.
You know, I'm not a roofer by no means. I've never roofed a house before in my life.
No matter what type of personal injury case you're involved in, it's going to serve you best to hire an attorney right away. An attorney is going to help make sure that you're getting the medical attention that you need, and that you know where you can go, and that you are entitled to certain types of care. They can help get your, find out how much insurance is involved and what kind of coverage you have, whether or not you have medical payments. They will help you decode your tech page, your insurance policy, to figure out all these things. They are also going to help you put together your lost wages and keep track of that as you miss work to get treatment or because of your injury. Attorneys are paid on a contingency basis in personal injury cases, so you're not having to put any money up front. The attorney will actually front the cost if we need any experts or documents to review, or to get your records or anything like that, and you not have to put any money down. You don't want to rush choosing the right attorney, so you don't want to get in a situation where you are worried that evidence is going to be destroyed, or you're worried that you're going to run.
You know, I'm not a roofer by no means. I've never roofed a house before in my life.
Plaintiff LaSawn Boyd says Cherie is irresponsible with money, and he regrets co-signing on a car with her. He's suing for various expenses related to a car he purchased. Defendant Cherie Hyde says she doesn't owe any money because LaSawn took the car back.
So, here we are. You get the car. The agreement is, although it's in his name, you will pay for the notes and the insurance.
Yeah.
But that didn't work out because he eventually took the car back. So, what happened? Why did he come back and get it?
As the months went on, the insurance went up, more payments, more money had to be kicked out.
Was she late on her payments?
Every month.
Okay, and so that's affecting your credit.
Yes.
Right? You take the car back, and what do you find out about the tickets and the mirror, which is what you're really suing for?
Yes. I didn't even know there were tickets on the car because.
Did you get tickets on the car?
I didn't get the tickets on the car. My friend that had the car when I wanted to get the rearview mirror fixed before he came and got it had collected the tickets, and I didn't know.
Show me proof of the tickets and for the cost of the mirror.
I'll just
What
say
happened to the relationship between the two of you? Did that just all fall to shambles because of this car?
Yes, the relationship was ruined for the simple fact that she would get angry at me for being angry at her for being irresponsible.
And you think that's going to help you get money from somebody?
No, it wasn't, but at the time I was just angry and I couldn't understand, like, why are you being this way to someone that basically helped you?
Because you don't know her. You don't know her well enough to commit to having someone pay you monthly payments over the course of years. You don't know her. Why bind yourself to someone for years over a car? Because you weren't thinking with the right brain. That's what the real problem is. So here's what we're going to do. You're asking her to pay you for $650 for missed work. I'm not going to order her to do that, but...
Can I say something?
Sure.
The day that I got the boot on my car, I woke up early in the morning to go to work. So
You have a boot on your car or the car she was driving?
when I took that car back from her, I had to drive that car for myself because I had lost my last car.
You know I lived in New York for a number of years, right?
Okay.
Do you know I know about public transportation and the trains?
Yes.
You don't have to take her car to get to work. You can take the train. There's a subway every 3 blocks
I
in New
work
York
in Long
City.
Island, ma'am.
So she's not responsible for that. Here's my judgment in this case. You are responsible for the tow tickets and replacing the mirror. That's a total judgment in the plaintiff's favor. $1,147. You know what? You got to eat some of the cost. You made a silly decision. I'm not going to order her to pay for a week's worth of you missing work. $1,147 judgment for the plaintiff.
I learned I would never co-sign for anyone because it's not a good idea.
I think just
Lynch. Defendant Robert Conley says he got busy on another project and doesn't owe his sister any money because he was surprised to learn she'd hired somebody else to finish the job. He's accompanied in court today by his wife, Vicky Conley.
Cheryl Jones?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Robert Conley
Yes.
for $4,655 for a refund for labor and materials for roof repairs he was supposed to do on your home. Okay, are the two of you related?
That's my sister.
Okay, so your brother and sister.
Yes, that's my brother. As children, we were very, very close.
What about as adults?
We had a little shaky relationship.
So what happened here?
I bought a fixer-upper home, and it needed a new roof. My brother said, I would like the job. He said, I need the money. And without questioning it, of course, he said he's done many roofs. He's had a lot of experience on doing roofs.
Okay. So, Mr. Conley, you have a conversation with your sister.
You know what
about
you're looking
this.
for?
When did that conversation take place?
Probably 2014, early spring.
Okay, and what was that conversation, sir?
She was going to have her roof put on, and I went over and I told her, I said, hey, I really need the money, and I'd like to do the job for you. And she said, okay, and then she wrote me a check for $4,000 and all that fun stuff.
She wrote you a check for $4,000, and was that the total amount you paid him?
Yes, he said he was needing money. Wanted to know if I would go ahead and write the check then, because he was in need of money. Well, I didn't even hesitate. I went ahead and wrote the check and then went on my way to Tennessee.
Okay, and the agreed upon total price for this project was what?
$4,700.
$4,700, and you paid him $4,000 of that $4,700.
I paid him $4,700.
You paid him the total amount of $4,700.
Yes.
Did he ever do the job?
He did not do the job. He did a small area.
What did you tell her?
I told her it would take me whenever I had time to do it, because at that time, just so lucky I got a job working for a farmer, and we were in the fields in the morning and didn't get out till dark.
You just didn't work on it at all because you got busy?
No, we was discussed. I told her I would do the job, in time.
What does that mean?
It means whenever I had the time.
But that's not okay with her.
It was at the time.
Well, no, because we're here. Do you know why we're here?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's a nut.
Really? Did you ever do the job?
Nice.
Huh?
Did you ever do the job?
I've done some of it, yes.
Okay, so how is she a nut? She paid you $4,700 and you did some of the work whenever you had the time. How is she a nut?
I told her that as soon as the weather cleared up, I would start, and then I would do it.
And so did you do that, sir?
Yeah, and that was agreed upon. That as long as I got her roof done, before it got cold and stuff, that it would do it. I'm not a roofer by no means. I've never roofed a house before in my life.
Your Honor, he told me.
But you offered to do the job? You took the money?
Yeah.
He told me, you said what you needed to say to get the $4,700. That's what it sounds like to me. After you got the money, you didn't care one way or the other when, if, and how the roof got done. Am I right? I'm sorry?
I believe you're wrong.
I don't care what you believe. What you believe is completely irrelevant to me. In fact, if you had any sense, you wouldn't even be here being sued by your own sister. So keep your comments about what you believe to yourself, because when you walk through those doors, it's what I believe that matters.
Well, it's your courtroom, but what I'm saying is that what you're thinking is wrong.
And I'm going to tell you again, what you think does not matter.
Coming up on Judge Vicky, questions are raised about the real reason for the siblings' roof repair dispute.
He put a fence in his backyard that same summer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Not with the money she paid me. I did it with the money with my tax refund and the money that I earned from my job.
And what else did he do in his house?
You want more of your Pocatello? I gotta leave. Yeah. I'm waiting.
Hey, you're a
You're a killer. And that's what I need right now. Someone to see it through
Yeah.
and won't back out.
Bring my charger.
Okay.
Part of a gang of crazies. And these boys are killers too, make no mistake. So you better be better. And get the jump. Survival.
Okay, so my attack was on 2. Can I send that to 2?
Go on now.
Plug this in.
Okay. There you go.
I'm gonna bring my medicine.
Okay.
There you go, 6-year-old. Have you eaten anything? Have you eaten anything? Because your bedtime's coming up.
Yeah.
Go get my medicine so I can feed you.
Really waiting for food.
Where's Mom at? Here, go get my medicine.
Passenger seat compared to the driver's seat.
All I know, something was in your car and that shit was nasty.
Oh, that just look how clean it is now.
What was in your car though?
I don't know, bitch. I bought it used. You expect me to know what all that shit is?
All you hear is, Mom, I crapped the car. We're gonna sell it. Oh, so I have a different story now. You gonna take my car? Take this shit. Oh.
Here you go.
Did you do any of your words today? Where's Mommy?
She's downstairs sleeping.
What about Damien?
Sleep too.
Alright. I don't want to hear another word about what we finna do.
Plaintiff Cheryl Jones says her brother
Is there some more?
No, eat the whole thing. If you're gonna eat the thing, bro, don't.
Oh, you're gonna give this to me?
Defendant Robert Conley
I'm not giving you
says
the whole
he got
thing.
busy on another project and doesn't owe his sister any money.
Forget everything she said. I'm asking you a question. Did you complete the job?
No, I did not.
Okay, so give her her money back.
She'll have to wait till I get the money.
No, she's not. She's not waiting another day.
Well, then
It's
she'll
gonna
have
happen today.
Well, then she'll have to take me to court and sue me again because I don't have it.
That's what we're here for today.
Huh?
That's what we're here for today.
Yeah, I
Getting
know.
to it already.
I know.
Ma'am, stand up, please. Who are you, ma'am?
His wife, her sister-in-law.
Good luck.
Everything was fine about the roof. We've been to her house since the roof. He went over and helped her put up a privacy fence. Then, my grandson's birthday is in December. My daughter-in-law tried to call her to invite her, and her house phone had been disconnected.
So she wasn't invited to the party.
That was on February 20th of this year. She filed the paperwork February
Hey,
20th.
I was gonna eat it then.
So you think that
I didn't
this
say you can have all of it.
after she's paid your husband $4,700?
There was not $4,700. There
I
was
really
$4,000.
like that.
I have it.
May I see it, please?
Yes, you may.
Do you concede that she paid you $4,700?
No, it was 4,000.
No.
I'm sure it was 4,000.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, it was $4,700. Here's the check that you cashed for $4,700. So perhaps you don't remember.
Oh, well, I'm sorry then. I'm sorry. I apologize to her, too. I thought it was $4,000.
But let me ask you something. something. You eventually hired someone else to come in and do this job?
Yes.
When was that? What month and what year?
It was at the end of August of 2014.
And how much did you pay someone to complete the job?
$1,000.
And were you aware that someone else came in and finished this job, sir?
After it was all done, yeah, I was aware of that.
Okay. And at that point, you still feel that you don't owe her money because she had to pay
Hold
someone
both
else
hands.
for labor to come in and complete
When
the
you
job
come
that
back
you did
up,
not
I'll give you the
finish?
rest of this.
No,
Why is that?
because I would have finished it. You know, I
Has
would
she given you more time?
yeah.
What do you want to say, sir? Do you have anything you want to say?
All I can say is that the shingle's been laid up there for so long that it took a start to melt.
Yeah, no, it's 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months. That's more than a reasonable amount of time for Mr. Conley to complete this job. I mean, you call your sister a nut.
You don't know what I've been through with these people.
I don't know what you've been through, but I know that you spent that $4,700. You didn't have a problem spending the money they paid you to do the work, and you didn't do it.
He put a fence in his backyard that same summer.
And what else did he do in his house?
In the winter, this past winter, they redid the whole kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you had some spare time and some money to do some remodeling in your house.
My money,
You can get some more of
Just
it.
not hers.
Not with the money she paid me. I done it with the money that I with my tax refund and the money that I earned from my job.
What did you do with the money she paid you?
I pay your bills.
He was not working at the time, had not been working.
That's not her problem. Whether or not he's working, and hey, if he's not working, then he should have all the time in the world to complete the project, right? He should have all the time in the world to complete the project that she's already paid for. What'd she say?
I said you didn't hear me, did you?
You know what? I'm gonna get you out of here because you about to. Let me tell you something.
This past winter, they redid the whole kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you had some spare time and some money to do some remodeling in your house.
With my money, but
just not hers.
Not with the money she paid me. I done it with the money that with my tax refund and the money that I earned from my job.
What did you do with the money she paid you?
I pay your bills.
he was not working at the time, had not been working.
It's not her problem. Whether or not he's working, and hey, if he's not working, then he should have all the time in the world to complete the project, right? He should have all the time in the world to complete the project that she's already paid for. What did you say?
I said you didn't hear me, did you?
You know what? I'm gonna get you out of here because you about to. Let me tell you something. You about to make me go there, and I'm not gonna go there today. I went to Bible study yesterday, and I'm not gonna go there today. You about to make me go there today.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. So it's $4,700 the plaintiff paid to the defendant. We're going to subtract $1,000 for materials you can see was purchased. In addition, I'm going to subtract $200 for labor. That leaves $3,500 that you owe the plaintiff, sir. Now, I'm going to say something because I think you're rude, I think you're disrespectful, and I think you show no remorse whatsoever for taking advantage of your sister. You may be able to treat her like that, but when you come into this courtroom, you will respect this courtroom, and you're going to respect this judgment. You pay her $3,500. Have a good day.
What have I learned from this case? I'm certain never to do business with family.
These are like little breads. They're quite cute.
I wish we could get a relationship started, but after seeing the way he behaved and told me that, I don't know that there will ever
But that red
be
means.
togetherness again, but maybe in prayer there will be.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge
Slow
Faith
down.
rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.
There was a time when the world whispered, when quiet blanketed the meadows, stillness eased our minds, and all the sharp
Put it down.
edges softened in the gently
You're
falling
not gonna eat all
snow.
my snacks.
There was a time when we
I told you
hiked in
about that.
wordless wonder, and the only sound
Yes,
we
it
heard was the steady
Don't do that.
beating of our grateful hearts. It was a peaceful time. It was winter, this winter at Biltmore. Save purchase online.
When you're hurt in an accident you didn't cause, someone needs to pay, and it shouldn't be you. Why should you be responsible for medical bills or car repairs? What if you can't get to work, or even work at all? Get the strong arm. Call attorney John Foy and Associates. John Foy makes bad drivers pay. He's already won hundreds of millions for injured people just like you, and he won't take a dime until you get everything you deserve. Make the call.
Today on Judge Faye, a jilted lover faces off in court with the ex, who he claims treated him like a child and destroyed his property.
I went to go turn on the television. It didn't turn on. I put the television to try to get the cords in. The TV fell out of the armoire and it broke.
Grant tells me that the TV is not there. I said, okay, well, where is it? He says it's at the repair shop.
Is that what happened? You threw the TV to the bottom of the balcony in the rain?
And later, a truck owner confronts the tow company she claims damaged her repossessed vehicle.
She said, I'm going to send someone around there to look at the truck and see what I can do for you. If you didn't do the damage, why would you send someone to my house? And I just wanted to make sure that it didn't happen. So I pulled the condition report that says there wasn't a dent on it when we picked it up.
I can't do your homework for you. Someone caused the damage to the vehicle. The question is, who?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. Now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faye. Plaintiff Jamel Wiley says after several text wars, his ex-lover kicked him out of the house and nailed the front door shut. He's suing for the value of the television and the VA school loan. Defendant Grant Alfaro says Jamel was a better friend than lover, and he doesn't owe any money because his ex was a freeloader.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Wiley versus Alfaro.
Thank you, Mark. Jamel Wiley, you are suing the defendant, Grant Alfaro?
Good morning, Your Honor, yes.
Good morning. For $987. 318 of that is for TV. 568 of that is for a VA bill. You'll explain to me what that is?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So why don't we start from the beginning and tell me what's going on here? How do you know Mr. Alfaro?
Me and Grant had met in 2014. We had dated for a little bit. Things didn't work out, so we had agreed to, part ways as far as the relationship went.
So how did you end up living with him and becoming a roommate?
I had been living in Long Beach, and I had enrolled at Los Angeles City College. So what had happened was the commute to Long Beach is a little bit long. I come and, we had came to an agreement that he had...
That you would move in and be a roommate.
Right, I would move in.
When did you move in?
August of 2015.
What was the agreement in terms of how much you would pay?
$425 for rent, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you, sir, had a one-bedroom apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And you decided to, I guess, sublet a portion of that?
No, ma'am, that's not exactly what happened. What happened is he came to me when we were becoming amicable again, and, he said, can I move back in? And I said, fine, but here are the guidelines behind it. If you're not going to pay rent, then you're going to go to school or you're going to find a job. He lived this life of Riley without doing anything, wasn't paying rent, wasn't going to school, wasn't finding a job. His excuses were that, well, I can go tomorrow, and it just never happened, and I just was fed up with it.
So how many months did he live with you? He moved in August 2015, and when did he move out, or when did you tell him he needed to leave?
I considered him persona non grata in December.
Okay. In December 2015. And so the two of you actually went to court over this because you told him he had to leave immediately.
Correct.
You actually sued him in court and won a judgment, $300 and the return of your property, right?
That's correct.
That's not correct. We actually, mediation, we agreed to mediated terms. We didn't actually win the judgment.
Right.
So you went to mediation.
Yes, ma'am.
And so the settlement terms were...
He would pay me $300.
$300 and the return of his property.
That's correct.
And so the only piece of property you are now here litigating is the return of your television, right?
That's correct.
What kind of TV is it?
It's a Samsung 40-inch television.
Okay, where's the TV?
hit the cords in, the TV fell out of the armoire, and it broke. The screen
So
broke.
the entire time he lives with you, the TV is just fine.
Right,
But when you throw him out, immediately after throwing him out, somehow that TV falls and breaks.
Coming up, the exes argue over the details of a mediation agreement.
The determination was that he would accept $300. The television and the cost of rent were included in that $300.
Why am I going to accept $300 for back rent plus a $400 TV?
And later, a car owner confronts the repo company she claims put an expensive dent in her truck.
Get to my truck, and he took off like a get out of here. And they said this is how my truck came to them with the dent in it.
Do you know how the truck got damaged?
No, it wasn't there. I know about it.
Plaintiff Jamel Wiley says Grant destroyed his property and harassed him. He's suing for the value of a television and a feeding school loan. Defendant Grant Alfaro says he doesn't know because he didn't do anything wrong.
So, but you went to mediation, and did you not discuss this in mediation? That
Yes,
the
ma'am.
TV
We
fell and
discussed.
broke?
We did, ma'am. And what the determination was that he would accept $300, and the television and the cost of rent were included in that $300.
Is that true?
That's not true.
What do you say?
That's not true.
Do you have any mediation papers with
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Oh, may I see them, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you mean to tell me when I look at these mediation papers, that TV was not a part of that $300 settlement?
No, the TV was not part of the $300 settlement.
Okay, because if it is, I'm throwing your entire case out right now.
When we went to court, he owed me $425 in back rent. It doesn't even make any sense for me to accept. Why am I going to accept $300 for back rent plus a
written out? There's $300 that you agree to pay in addition to allowing the plaintiff to collect all personal possessions at 11 a.m. on February 28th. The issue here is it doesn't say what those personal possessions, it doesn't list what those personal possessions are. So, what happens on that day? Do you not get the TV on that day?
The mediator, when she had discussed it with me, she said, so how's it going to work? And I said, it's going to be everything that's listed on the personal property list that I had emailed to him. He had sent me an email requesting a personal property list.
Where's the list?
The list is right here. I have the list.
Let me see it.
Your Honor, the personal property list indicates the television was damaged already.
I understand that, but even if it's damaged, he wants it. He says it's his property, so let's talk about it.
Your Honor, we both bought the television.
No, Mr. Alfaro. I already have emails that you've submitted into evidence where you say that he can get the TV and you will give him the TV. Do I really have to go through all of this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So the TV is listed on here as a part of his personal property that he is coming to retrieve. What happened with the TV on February 28th?
Okay, so on February 28th, I come to get it. Mr. Grant tells me that the TV is not there. I said, okay, well, where is it? He says it's at the repair shop. I said, okay, well, do you have like an invoice for it? Do you have...
Where was the TV on February 28th?
It was tossed. I tossed it after it broke. It was taken initially to the repair shop to see if it could be repaired. It could not be repaired.
Do you have any proof that you took it to a repair
No,
shop?
I did not.
What did you pay them?
I didn't pay anything. They just looked at it. The screen was broken. So I tossed the television.
Let me see what else you have.
So when I sent him basically the stipulation agreement, I went to the court and I asked them to enforce the settlement agreement.
Sir, give him back this iPad. We're about to wrap this up right now.
So I did want to talk to you about the VA benefits, Your Honor.
Listen, we're done. Text message is right here. You tell him you want the TV back, fine, come and get it. It's in 1,000 pieces at the bottom of the balcony in the rain. Come pick it up. That's exactly what you wrote. Show me the value of the television. You're not getting $500 refund for your schoolwork because you missed school because of all the drama between the two of you. If you can't handle the stress of the matter, then that's on you. But I'm not ordering him to pay you $500 because you missed school. Show me the value of the television, sir.
That wasn't the case, Your Honor. It wasn't because I couldn't handle the stress. I was going to school.
Are you going to show me the value of the TV?
Yes, ma'am. I have it right
here. Okay, I don't need your commentary. Is that what happened? You threw the TV to the bottom of the balcony in the rain?
Yes.
Why are you wasting my time? Why are you wasting
wasting my time.
I wasn't wasting your time, Your Honor.
Depreciated value of the television, $250. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck.
These are spicy.
With a fair ruling, I just wish that we could have got to the point about talking about, you know, the fact that he had locked me out. And due to that I didn't, you know, I wasn't able to attend school, so he was actually responsible.
Well, I feel it was a little harsh. I think that the entire case was not able to be presented correctly, but you know, she made her ruling, and I respect it.
Plaintiff Latoya Brazier says the defendant's company towed her repossessed truck and put a big old dent in her bumper. She's suing for vehicle damage and pain and suffering. Defendant Sarah Blackwell says she doesn't know because she checked the condition report and the dent wasn't there when they dropped it off at the repo lot. She's accompanied in court today by her husband, Buck Buckner.
Latoya Brazier?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Sarah Blackwell, for $5,000 you say she owes you for vehicle damage and pain and suffering.
Yes.
And I understand all of this is a result of your car being repossessed and towed. You said that they're responsible for some damage on the car, and you're suing for $2,500 for vehicle repairs, monthly car payments for March and April, travel expenses, and $1,000 in pain and suffering.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now you're at the max, which is $5,000.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to tell me why you believe the defendants owe you $5,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
In November, the second week of November, I called my loaner, the company, and told them that I was no longer can afford my car payments. So they told me that Bulldog was going to come pick up my truck.
Bulldog is the name of your company?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you do?
I own a repossession company.
Okay, and do you own with your husband? Your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
And I get a call from Sarah, and she told me that she was going to send someone around here to pick up my truck. So I told her, okay. So when I came home from work, she called me and asked me, was I at home? Was my truck drivable? I said yes.
What kind of truck is it, ma'am?
It's a 2004 Mercury Mountaineer.
So this is sort of a best case scenario for you when there is a customer. You don't have to go around looking for a car, wait for the right opportunity to tow it. It's an agreed upon time and date, and you're just going to pick it up. So you know no one's going to run outside yelling, hey, what are you doing with my car? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you send your son and husband to go and pick up the truck, and what happened?
Her son came to my door, and I turned over the keys to him, and the son, he gets in my truck, and he took off like a bat out of hell.
How old is your son?
It wasn't my son that, it was...
Oh, it was a trainee that I was training.
Oh, it was a trainee. It wasn't your son.
I sent my son, but instead I sent a new rider with him to go pick him up.
Oh, okay. And did you see him driving like a bat out of hell in her truck?
He didn't drive like a bat out of hell. I'm in a tow truck myself, which does not drive like a bat out of hell.
Okay.
They drove away normally.
Okay, because you say there was damage to your truck once you got it back, and that damage wasn't on there when you released it to them.
Exactly.
So tell me what happened.
The thing is, when Bulldog picked up my truck, no damage to my truck at all. When I get my truck, the lenders called me and asked me January 15th, 16th, that I want to get my truck back. I said no because I didn't have the money at the time. I did my income taxes. I filed those. I got my tax return back. I decided to get my truck back because if I didn't, it would go on my credit.
Well, it's still going to be on your credit as a repossession.
Yeah.
But it'll look better for you if you can get it back.
If I can get it back. So that's what I done. I went and paid the $546 the 17th of February.
Where was the truck at that time?
It was at a repo lot.
So how do you know they caused the damage?
Coming up on Judge Faith, can the party responsible for the dent be determined?
And they also showed me a picture of my truck.
Where's the photo that they showed you?
I didn't get the photo from them.
They went there in December. It was there till February when she picked it up.
So why do you think they're responsible for the damage?
Plaintiff Latoya Brazier says Sarah's tow company put a dent in her bumper. She's suing for vehicle damage and pain and suffering. Defendant Sarah Blackwell says she doesn't know because they didn't cause the damage.
Let's see the photos of the damage you say was on the truck. That's the dent in the front?
Yes.
Did you all cause this damage?
No.
Do you know how the truck got damaged?
No, it wasn't there on our lot.
Okay, so what happened how long did you have the truck in your possession?
30 days.
30 days, and then the lien holder picks it up?
They send the auction to
point, they're not in the picture anymore, right?
Yes.
And so why do you think they're responsible for the damage?
The thing is, when I got over to the auction, they made me sign this letter here, and they also showed me a picture of my truck. When they brought my truck into the auction, my truck had the dent in it.
Where's the photo that they showed you?
I didn't get the photo from them. They wouldn't releasing the photo to me.
You're saying they showed you a photo and it had a dent in it,
Yes.
and
And they said this is how my truck came to them with the dent in it.
and you don't have a photo of that.
No, I do not.
Who took the truck to the auction?
The auction sends a transport company to pick it up. But it was there, it went there in December, it was there till February when she picked it up. And I don't know anything about when they took this picture or...
So, you know that you have an option not to buy the truck if it has a dent and it's damaged, right? Because it's not your truck anymore. You owe money to the lenders. That's just the bottom line. But you made a choice to go and buy this truck again. You did not have to do that. You understand that, right?
Yes.
But I understand why you want to, because it will help your credit.
My credit, yes.
I understand why you want to. You're still going to have a repossession on your credit, but you basically bought a damaged car, and you telling me they have photos, but I don't have the photos. You have no evidence
And also,
to support that.
Miss Sarah said that she was going to send someone around to my house. When I called her on the 19th of February and told her about my truck, she said, I'm going to look into your file and see what happened. She said, I'm going to send someone around there to look at the truck and see what I can do for you. If you didn't do the damage, why would you send someone to my house? Someone
Did you
that
have that
never showed
conversation?
up.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
I'm always trying to make everybody right, and I just wanted to make sure that it didn't happen. So I pulled the condition report that says there wasn't a dent on it when we picked it up.
The dent came from somewhere, right? The question is who's responsible, and the key piece of evidence that you say is out there that exists, you don't have anything to corroborate that in court today.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith.
I don't know the proper words to do. Yeah, sure, let's go. So I was just been riding around all this time. Cool. Ooh. His outfit looks nice. Don't compare to mine. I ain't got money for that.
Turn on that camera.
No. Why do you want to make it on the camera? Nobody want to see that. Okay. Yeah, I had to bring these meats into town for this for. Thank you. When we come back here. I'm gonna get some weapons. Some little big bombs too. What you got on the face? Thanks, sir. I don't even know what part right there existed. This place has secret areas. That's cool stuff. I don't know who's gonna want some breakfast.
So here's what we have. We have a $5,000 case. $2,500 of it is for repairs to your vehicle. And I haven't seen your estimate, so I don't even know if that damage is worth $2,500. But let's just assume it is for a second. The other parts of your case, pain and suffering, this is not a pain and suffering case. You're asking for March and April car payments. They're not responsible for those things. I'm just judging this case based on $500 you're asking for in repairs. Here's what I have. I have this car being repossessed by this company who's here today. They had the truck for 30 days, and then the auction lot had it for 2 months. Someone caused the damage to the vehicle. The question is, who? Was it the repossession company or was it the auction lot? Here, when you purchased the car again in February, you signed a waiver releasing the auction from any liability whatsoever. So I understand now why they're not a party to this lawsuit, and you want me to hold them responsible for the damage to the truck. The best piece of evidence, the only piece of evidence you told me, which I would find convincing, is that the auction lot has something that exonerates them completely. Before you sign this waiver, you should have gotten that evidence. I can't do your homework for you. I can't go out and research these issues on your behalf. When you come into court, you have to be prepared to prove your case. And I'm just not convinced. Judgment in this case for the defendants.
They know they totaled my car, put the damage in my car, and now I'm responsible to pay for the damage, and I still have to pay to get my car fixed. Like for future people getting their car revoked.
We're always interested in what you have to say about our cases. Write us with your thoughts or comments. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or my Instagram. I look forward to hearing from you.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.
Does crypto trading seem, well, cryptic? Enter Coinbase. The crypto platform that's easy and intuitive for all traders. It's designed to make buying, selling, and sending crypto seamless, not stressful. Just another reason Coinbase is the best platform for crypto beginners. Join Coinbase today.
Today on Judge Faith, an actress with Hollywood dreams confronts the playboy who rented her a room in his mansion of horrors.
I was under an understanding that there would be 6 tenants in the home. There was actually a total of 31 people. 2 people in particular live in closets.
It's a lie. See, I've been there 16 years. I've never seen anything like that.
I don't think you know about a lot of things going on in this house. Personally, I would have been out of there the next day.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Haley Ray Canal says a defendant's mansion was an unsafe place to live, so she had no choice but to get out. She's suing for paid rent, security deposit, and a background check fee. She's accompanied to court today by her roommate, Molly Roth. Defendant Robert Teeger says his mansion was a safe place to live, and Haley Ray found the traumatic events that occurred exciting. He's countersuing for damages to a rental property.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Canal versus Teeger.
Thank you, Juan. Haley Ray Canal?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
are suing the defendant, Robert Teeger, for $1,800 you say he owes you for your rent, security deposit, and a background check fee. He charged you when you moved into a home he was renting.
That is correct.
And you are countersuing, sir, for $6,000 $600 for damages you say she caused to the home when she moved out.
That's correct.
Okay, we'll start with you.
Whoa.
And you'll tell me what's going on.
Okay. Well, originally I hadn't planned on living in this house. I had another property I was moving to, but at last minute we found out there was termites. So I had one night to find a place, and I went to see the place. And
find it
on Craigslist. Through a Craigslist ad. So I went to see it, and that was the last day of February. And on March 1st, I moved in the very next day to the only room in the house that had its own bathroom.
Okay, can you describe the house for me, sir? Is this a house that you own?
That's correct.
Okay, where is it located?
It's in Mount Washington, which is east of Glendale.
I didn't need the exact geography. I just want to know the general area. Okay.
That's it.
Okay, and how many bedrooms? What's the living situation?
The 7 bedrooms, 5 baths. It's 10,000 square feet.
Okay, it's huge.
Huge.
And how many, do you rent all of the bedrooms out to different people?
Well, some of them are empty, but yeah.
But the rule is you try to rent all the bedrooms
Yeah.
out. And
Except
you live
the
in
one I
one.
live in.
Okay,
I don't want anybody in there.
understandable. And so, did the two of you enter into a lease?
It's a month-to-month.
Okay, but you a written agreement. So it is a lease.
Yes.
Okay, may I see it, please? What was your understanding about who would be living in the home before you moved in?
I was under an understanding that there would be 6 tenants in the home. And as soon as I moved in, I realized very quickly there was actually a total of 31 people I counted, and 13 dogs and 4 cats.
Before you
There were
moved
31 people living in the home?
Yes.
Is that true?
No,
How many people were living there?
I would say 7 or 8.
Okay, that's a
Some of
big
them were
difference. What?
Some of the rooms had, couples.
How many people total were living in the home, sir?
7 or 8
7 or 8 people total.
total.
Okay, and you say there were 31?
31.
Maybe there was a party going on and people were visiting?
For 22 days?
So for 22 days, you saw bunches of people living in rooms?
Yes, they were consistently coming and going, and most of these people have drug addictions, specifically to crystal meth. And so it's kind of become a flop house, and many people don't have rooms. They just live on the couches, or 2 people in particular live in closets.
And you saw this for yourself?
Yes, I saw
People
this with
sleeping in the closet?
with my own eyes, yes.
Were you aware that people were sleeping in the closets?
No.
Okay. Did you express concerns to him about the number of people living there?
I mean, yes, I did, but I also was, at the same time, realizing I was only going to be there 22 days. I already had another place that I was planning to move into, which I
told her
currently
that in
reside in.
advance that you would only be living there for a month.
Yes,
Is that true, sir?
It's a lie.
Did she tell you she would plan on moving out anytime in the near future?
No.
Okay. And so your lease doesn't state that you would be there for only 1 month?
Yes, it's a month-to-month lease.
May I see, you have the original lease, sir, don't you? So the lease does have a move-in date of March 1st, 2016. It doesn't say a specific move-out date, or it doesn't specifically say that the lease would be for only 1 month.
That is correct. I did give him verbal notice, but he let me know when it
But it
was
needs
time
to
to
be
leave
written in the lease.
that I needed to give him a written notice. So I did give him a written notice.
Right,
as
but
well.
if you plan on staying just 1 month, it needs to be written in the lease.
And I do realize that is my mistake. I realized when I was moving out, I said, so should I have given you that notice on the day I was moving in? And that was my mistake. I should have done that.
Well, you live and learn, but what happened? What happened with the apartment?
A bunch of different events occurred while I was there. There is ongoing illegal activity, people living there with warrants out for their arrests, drug activity. Particularly what happened was on I believe it was the 5th, my old roommate and now again current roommate, Molly, came to view a room and to meet Robert, but he was not there for her to meet. So myself and another tenant tried to show her the room, but we could not get in the room. The room was sealed. And so she just gave up and left, and she'd already decided before she even walked in the house that she was not going to live there.
What do you mean by sealed?
We could not open the door. It was sealed from the inside.
So it was locked?
Yes, it was locked.
What's the problem with that?
I couldn't show her the room.
But he wasn't there, and he hadn't given you permission to go inside of the room. So perhaps he keeps most of the rooms locked because no one's supposed to be in there.
Well, what happened later, later that night, well, actually into the next early morning hours, the police showed up, and they were there in search of a little boy who was missing for about a month at that time, and they had reason to believe that possibly he was in that room, or that there was maybe the mother or someone they could
How do
speak
you know
to
this?
in the room, because the police told me this when they came to visit. And so me and someone else who lived in the house were the ones that answered the door. We weren't able to wake up Robert for a long time, so we were attempting to wake him up. And the police were able to get they broke down the door and went in. There was 2 people.
And you witnessed this?
Yes, I witnessed
You witnessed the police break down the door,
Yes, and
go in the room.
Yes, and 2 people were inside the room.
And who were they?
They were just, I guess, another 2 tenants.
And the police had been knocking and no one answered the door?
And no one answered that door. They were just, I guess, maybe hiding out, and they're not really sure.
And did they say why they didn't answer the door?
I think they were scared, maybe.
And were they arrested?
No, so they spoke with them. They were 2 people, completely different people. They weren't the people they were looking for. But
were you aware of this situation that the police showed up and broke down the door to the room?
The tenant that I rented into told me that the police came in looking for the former tenant who had left months ago.
And did the police actually break the door?
Well, I don't think they broke the door.
So the door wasn't broken?
No, there was no damage to the door. But the new tenants, they were shook up, and I gave them their money back. They moved the next day.
They moved out the next day?
Yeah, they didn't like that.
Those 2 tenants, I'm actually still in contact with them, and they never got their money back. Any of their money back. And they actually lived in their car for about a week until they were able to make some more money.
Is that true? You never gave them their money back?
I did give them the money back, and if you contact him, he'll tell you that.
Okay, well, they're not here, so that's hearsay. I can't consider it in this case. But what about the missing child?
So that
I said they had the wrong house.
No, they did live there, and that child did live there, but they couldn't find the child or the mother's boyfriend. While they were there viewing the house, they looked around and they found there's another younger boy who was living on the floor below, and they said it wasn't a safe place for him to live. It was dangerous. And so the next day, Child Services came in and took that child away.
Coming up, just when you thought life in the mansion couldn't get any more bizarre.
She put on a ski mask, she fired off the gun 3 times, and shot him with a taser gun.
This is not shocking and disturbing to you?
It's not my fault it happened.
Plaintiff Haley Ray Cannell says she felt unsafe living in the mansion, and that's why she moved out. She's suing for paid rent, security deposit, and a background check fee. Defendant Robert Teager says he owes nothing because Haley Ray told him life in the mansion was exciting. He's countersuing for damages to a rental property.
Were you aware that Child Services came in and took a child out of the house in the month of March while she was living there?
I was aware. I came home one day and there was the child service in my living room.
And so do you know if the child was removed from the home?
Well, I don't know what happened.
Okay. What else do you say happened? You said that someone...
Sorry, so then after that chain of events, that little boy was taken away. That mother was very upset.
And what date is it at this point?
So that he was taken away on the 7th. So that they first came to look for the missing boy on the 6th.
So in the first week that she's there, the police broke down the door to one room looking for people.
Otherwise, it's
the police are there in the middle of the night, right? They can't wake you up. You're sleeping. And Child Services has come to the house. So what's the third incident you want to tell me?
And then the third incident is that mother then was very upset. Her son had been taken away. She is an addict of crystal meth. And someone else, another tenant, was then rented out the room that was her son's room. And she was very upset, and they got in an argument. She put on a ski mask and knocked on the door and opened the door, and she had with her a gun. She fired off the gun 3 times and shot him with a taser gun while I was in the home, and I had to hide in my closet behind all of my dresses.
Do you know this happened?
I know it happened, not the way she told it.
Do you have a police report for
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please?
I have many police reports, but this is this specific incident that I'm speaking of.
What's your version of the incident with the ski mask and the gun and the taser?
It happened, but it wasn't the tenant. It was a guy with a ski mask. We don't know who it was. The police are investigating.
So isn't that even worse? Some guy can show up and get in the house and you don't even know who he is with a ski mask? Because here's what the police report says. So it's not even a tenant, not someone who lives there. But on March 8th...
was a tenant.
Well, but sir, this is what I'm saying. The perpetrator was not. So someone who you don't know who this person is, and I have a police report from March 8th, 8 days after she's moved in, the victim, in the case who you're talking about, was awakened in the room by multiple knocks on the door. The victim opened the door and was met by a suspect with a ski mask. their room. This person is already in the house. That this is not shocking and disturbing to you?
Very shocking. I've been there 16 years. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, she's been there a week. And she's, by your own admission, seen the police there now twice in child services. I'm just going to finish with this police report. Multiple knocks on the victim's door. Victim opens the door and was met by a suspect in a ski mask holding a taser and a gun. Suspect was struck multiple times with the butt end of the gun. I'm sorry, and you don't want to give her her money back when she wants to move out of this house?
Yes.
Coming up on Judge Faith, damages to the mansion rental are disputed.
She did a little artwork on the walls.
Where's the mural on the wall? You said there was a painting on the wall. Where is it? I don't think you have the right room.
Plaintiff Haley Ray Cannell says at times she hid in her closet because the mansion was a dangerous place to live. She's suing for paid rent, security deposit, and a background check fee. Defendant Robert Teager says he owes nothing because Haley Ray liked living in his mansion. He's countersuing for damages to a rental property.
You just told me someone came into the house and pistol whipped one of your tenants.
On a different floor.
Why would someone want to live in this house? Who wants to live in this house, especially a young single woman? Why would she want to live in this house? It's not a safe place. It's not safe.
Well, then
I don't even want to go to the rest of the month because the first week that she's lived there, she should live in the house. Why haven't you given her back her money?
She didn't ask for her money back, Your Honor.
Why do you think we're here?
Huh?
Why do you think we're here? Because she's suing to get her security deposit back. Why are you keeping her security deposit?
Because she didn't give 30 days notice.
So you want her to stay the full month, although someone has broken into the home and pistol whipped one of your tenants, shot a taser at them. Child Services has been there. So she's witnessed the police there at least twice, and your defense to that is it was on a completely different floor, so she's good.
No, it's more than that. I talked to her about it. I asked her if she wanted her money back. She said it's fun. It was fun. It was exciting. But she was laughing. So I think
What does
it's
your
too
witness
late.
have to say? We're going to wrap up this case. Okay. What's your witness have to say?
Basically, I can attest to the situation of the house. It was like a hoarder's house. There was animal feces in the corner. There was people walking around I didn't know that looked possibly high. And it seemed dangerous to me.
Where's the police report from March 10th? There's another police report from March 10th? Police come down on a regular basis, huh? You probably know the police officers.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The police come on a regular basis, apparently. In the first 10 days that she's been in the house, it's 3 different times documented that the police are there. On March 10th, yes, we've gone through, this is my 3rd police incident. Putting aside child services, I have a police report from March 10th. Someone in the home called the police because they left their property in their designated sleeping area, and when they returned, the property was gone. It was stolen. So they called the police, and they reported their property stolen from the home. So that's 3 police reports in 10 days. And she wants to move out. I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
I think you're forgetting that I told her she could get her money back at the time and she didn't want it.
Is that true?
No, Your Honor, that's not true.
When someone moves into, if you're a landlord and someone moves into your property, you have a duty to provide them with a safe area to live, and you're not doing that because these are very serious allegations, but the one that disturbs me the most is that someone was able to break into your home wearing a ski mask and assault another tenant. And personally, I would have been out of there the next day. What's your counterclaim about? What's your counterclaim about? You're countersuing her for $600, sir. What is your counterclaim about?
It's about having to pay the room because she did a little artwork on the walls.
Did you paint on the walls?
No, I haven't painted since the 4th grade, and I have photos to prove this is my room during the time, as well as when I moved out before my time in the room was actually over. He'd already moved someone else in it. These are date-stamped photos.
Oh, may I see the date-stamped photos?
Sure. That's Myron, that's after.
think you have the right room. I don't think you know about a lot of things going on in this house. That's my impression. I just don't think you're aware of a lot that's going on in this house.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
Here's what I'm going to do. When did you move out of the home?
The 22nd, but during that time, most of my sister stayed with Molly and at her uncle's house because I felt unsafe and my parents did not feel it was a safe place for me to live, even though I'm a grown adult.
It wasn't a safe place for you to be. It's not about how they felt. It just wasn't safe. Period. You can't live in a home where you're so afraid you have to be in your own room. You can't be able to walk freely because clearly there's a security issue if somebody's able to break in wearing a ski mask with a gun. And you're saying it's on another floor, but you shouldn't expect your tenants to have to lock themselves in their rooms in order to feel safe. I don't think what she's asking you is unreasonable, and I don't know why you wouldn't give her money back.
I think I told you why.
Well, your reason is ridiculous, and you're ridiculous. How's that? $1,750 judgment for the plaintiff. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
I just hope that the issues with the house stop with me and that this cycle stops and he stops renting to people that he can take advantage of.
I think the judge's ruling was ridiculous. Offered the money back at that time. She said, no, it's fine. It was exciting. No problem.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court. Today on Judge Faith, Atlanta college students come to court to collect on their roommates' overdue rent.
She talked about getting her hair done, and she found somebody that would do it for $150. I'm like, okay, wait, you still owe me $150.
I wasn't the only one being irresponsible. Listen, you're all struggling. You're all college students. No one has any money. I've been there. I've done that. I've lived through it. But at the same time, you have responsibilities and obligations.
And later, a Minneapolis mom claims a used car she bought from an online ad turned out to be a lemon.
Not even 48 hours after I purchased the vehicle, the transmission goes out.
Our mechanic told us that the engine and the transmission, I saw it.
Listen, if you sell cars on Craigslist and you flip cars, that's fine. In your mind, you may be a car dealer, but it sounds like you just flip cars.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a top New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiffs Brian Stills and Courtney Foster say their former roommate was always late on rent, forcing them to break their lease early. They're suing for unpaid rent, utilities, and loss of deposit. Defendant Lataris Butler says she owes nothing because her roommates were aware of her financial situation and she didn't want to terminate the lease early.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Stills and Foster versus Butler.
Thank you, Juan. Brian Stills
Yes, Your Honor.
and Courtney Foster. You are suing the defendant, help me with your name, Lataris Butler, for $1,577. You say she owes you as a part of a roommate agreement for unpaid rent, utilities, and loss of deposit?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stills, why don't I start with you?
Okay.
Tell me how you met Miss Butler and how the three of you decided to move into an apartment together.
Basically, I knew Courtney from school. We both went to Georgia State. Ty was Courtney's roommate at the time. We decided to go to spring break together in Panama City, and Courtney was looking for an apartment.
Me and Ty were roommates before.
Okay.
We did stay in student houses. We had separate leases there, though. In May, we started looking for apartments, and the price of living in Atlanta is kind of expensive in the inner city. So we decided to bring Ryan in as a we knew he could get a 3-bedroom apartment.
Right. How much was the rent in the 3-bedroom apartment?
It was $1,099.
$1,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment?
Right.
Wow. At that rate, I can afford to live in a mansion like Juan. It's pretty good.
It was pretty cheap.
And the security deposit was how much?
$300.
$300. And so the agreement was you would split it 3 ways.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that this is what you wrote in your complaint about spring break, about Miss Butler. You said she was wild and slightly irresponsible, but I didn't think much of it because it was spring break.
Correct.
So what does slightly irresponsible mean to you?
I saw her get drunk. I saw her throw up multiple times. So basically, I saw a lot of different
Would
sides.
you deem this as slightly irresponsible, still okay to room with and get an apartment with, right?
Correct.
Okay, so here we are. What month and year do you sign the lease?
We signed the lease in July of 2015.
And the agreement is you would split the... How was spring break, by the way?
It was great.
It was fine. You survived? Okay, so from what you remember, it was great.
It was fun. Everyone had fun. I mean, I wasn't the only one being irresponsible.
Slightly irresponsible.
Yeah, slightly irresponsible. Yeah.
So getting beyond spring break, we're now July 2015. You guys get a great deal on a 12-month lease. But you don't last very long in this lease. What happened?
We paid our deposit, and the leasing office said, hey, we know you paid your deposit, but so we don't have to prorate you guys, could you go ahead and pay August? So seeing that I was able to pay August and they were not, I decided to, hey guys, I'll go ahead and pay August.
So you covered August for everyone?
Yes.
Did you pay him back?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay him back?
Yes, ma'am, I did. It took a while, but yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what months do you say she missed? Why are you suing her for 3 months of rent?
Well, the 3 months comes down to November, December, and January.
Okay.
But before then, I guess October. And this is where, she still owes me money from the August when I paid for everybody's rent.
Okay, so she had not paid you August. You hadn't paid August at that point?
I didn't pay him back fully, but later on that month, yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay.
And she, so we're all sitting down talking, and she talks about getting her hair done. And she found somebody that would do it for $150. I'm like, okay, wait, you still owe me $150, so that's messed up.
So did she get her hair done with the $150, or did she pay you?
No, ma'am, I gave it to him.
No,
I'm asking him a question. Why do you keep talking out of turn?
I feel like it's not fair. I'm upset about it.
Get your opportunity to speak. I promise you, you will.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up, the roommates reveal a questionable contract in court.
You signed an agreement to pay these 3 months, so you're agreeing to this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sign the agreement.
Honestly.
What?
I didn't read it, which wasn't smart.
That's not their problem.
And later, a dispute over a used car that turned out to be undrivable.
The mechanic said that there's errors internally with the transmission and that it needs to be replaced.
Bad transmission.
Correct.
Plaintiffs Brian Stills and Courtney Foster say their former roommates' irresponsible behavior forced them to break their lease early. They're suing for unpaid rent, utilities, and loss of deposit. Defendant Lataris Butler says she owes nothing because she always, eventually, paid her rent.
Take me to what happens at the end of October.
Well, we have another talk at the end of October. Apparently her hours were getting cut at her job, so we were like, well, how about we all just go ahead and move back home since we can't pay your part every month for like 10 more months. So she decides to...
But you only paid her portion for 1 month at this point, and that was August, right?
Right, but we also had issues of money, like for utilities and stuff.
There was also issue with utilities. So were you struggling during this time period?
Yes, ma'am, and they knew that prior to this. They knew I was struggling. They knew, okay, she doesn't make a lot. I work fast food. So I didn't make very much. I made $7.75 an hour.
So what decision do you come to about the lease? You decide to break the lease, right? Each of you will pay for 1 month of rent to get out of the lease, and you'll all go your separate ways and live somewhere else.
Right.
So
They
did you have a decision?
We actually agreed to this
I agreed as well as us to go ahead and put in the agreement.
So you signed an agreement? Did you sign this agreement?
She did.
They told me that if I didn't sign the agreement, we would have to pay an extra month, which of course I didn't have.
Well, this was at this point though. You signed an agreement to pay these 3 months, so you're agreeing to this. You don't have to do that. I don't have to sign the agreement.
Honestly,
what?
I didn't read it, which wasn't smart.
Well, that's not their problem. And you're old enough to know when you put your signature on a document, you need to know what it says. So I don't accept that excuse. That's like saying the dog ate my homework. It's not acceptable in this courtroom.
You know what I'm saying? I understand.
I see 2 signatures on
I didn't
here.
sign.
Okay, so you didn't sign it.
Correct.
Okay. But the 2 of you signed it.
Yeah. Although I didn't sign, I went to go talk to the leasing management, and basically they said, since you put it in now, you have 2 months. So you have November, December, and you have to pay for January.
Right. So you stayed there November, December.
Correct.
Right. So the only month that you did not live there was January.
Correct.
Okay, so you lived there November, December.
No, ma'am.
So
I
where'd
left
you
in
go?
November. Honestly, I was barely there because I was pretty much living with my friend because he would help me. I was still like having all my stuff there, and I was still paying on bills and everything. But it's just I didn't have enough. I wasn't making enough, as they knew I was struggling.
Listen, you're all struggling. You're all college students. No one has any money. I've been there. I've done that. I've lived through it. Okay, you're all struggling. I get it. But at the same time, you have responsibilities and obligations. And under the law, you're still a part of this lease. You signed this agreement that you will vacate at the end of December.
They're gonna hang
Your
you.
stuff's still there anyway, so by law, technically you're still there even if you're not spending the night there. So under these circumstances, you have to pay your portion of the rent for those 3 months. You know, you don't get to live anywhere for free. It happens. We all have struggles. We all go through them. We're in college, but this is what you owe. They decided to bring the lawsuit. I have to enforce the law. $1,577 for the plaintiffs.
You want to see him get heard?
I really wish
You say he's bored?
you have to separate business from personal. So I feel like it was really messed up the way things went.
No,
Because I didn't think that they were my best friends because that's how
All
they
my target
acted.
students go to
I don't want
him.
anything else to do with it.
I read his chart. He needs to.
Defendant sold her a used car with a bad transmission and then promised to compensate her for it. She's suing for a payment refund for a car. She's accompanied in court today by Dustin Wilbur. Defendant Isaiah Wing says he doesn't owe any money because Carissa signed a no warranty contract.
Carissa Olsen.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are suing the defendant, Isaiah Wade,
Yes, Your Honor.
for $2,700. You want to be refunded for a car you purchased from him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so why don't you tell me what happened? When did you purchase the car?
I purchased the vehicle on April 13th, 2016.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Ford Freestyle 2006.
Okay, and so did you find an ad on Craigslist? Or
I did find an ad on Craigslist from
do you have a copy of it?
I don't have a copy of it, no, Your Honor. It just said a 2006 Ford Freestyle, willing to sell for $3,500. And I was very interested in seeing this vehicle, so I contacted the defendant April 10th.
Okay, and why were you selling the car, sir? Was this your car that you were driving?
I'm a car dealer.
Okay, you have your own car dealership?
That's correct, Your Honor. It's located in Ramsey, Minnesota.
And where'd you meet him and look at the car?
Target parking lot.
Why would she go to the Target parking lot to meet you if you have a car dealership?
Your Honor, my car dealership is really far away from where I live. It's in Brooklyn Park. It's a very small dealership. It's, we park about 5 cars there. And what I do, I have a big house, and I can park like 12 cars.
Sir, listen, if you sell cars on Craigslist and you flip cars, that's fine. But don't call yourself a car dealer if you're not, because the laws are very different. That's why I'm asking you these factual questions. In your mind, you may be a car dealer, but it sounds like you just flip cars.
Well, I am a dealer because I don't.
You have a license?
Yes.
Okay, so you are a licensed dealer. You sell cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
And your primary source for advertising is Craigslist.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know he was a car dealer?
No, not at the time, Your Honor.
During this entire transaction, did you think you were buying a car from an individual or a dealer?
Individual.
Okay, so you meet him at the Target parking lot, and what happened?
Basically, everything seemed fine. I mean, it had about 135,000 miles on it, so I was assuming, there was wear and tear with a used vehicle. So I contacted him that evening, and I said I was very interested in purchasing the vehicle but before I do, I really want to get a diagnostic for it.
Okay, great. Most people don't, so you decide to take it to a mechanic. car?
The asking price was $3,500.
How much did you end up paying for it?
$2,700.
$2,700. So the next day you go, you take it to a mechanic to get it checked out, and were you happy with the results?
I was happy with the results.
So the mechanic told you it was good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you buy the car for $2,700. Why are we here? What happened?
Not even 48 hours after I purchased the vehicle, the transmission goes out. The gears start shifting on me while I'm transporting my children from school back home, and it just basically, I was pushing the gas, and it was acting as though it was in neutral, so the gears weren't properly working at the time. So I took it back to the place that I got the oil change at, because right after I purchased the vehicle, I got maintenance on it, I got an oil change and alignment, and so I just took it back there because they said, oh, it's safe to go, it's safe to drive. I was planning on taking it out of state, so I wanted to make sure that this was going to be a reliable car. What happened was that it wasn't reliable.
What did the mechanic tell you?
The mechanic said that there's errors internally with the transmission and that it needs to be replaced.
Bad transmission?
Correct.
Did you sign a written agreement to buy this car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, may I see a copy of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he tell you anything at all about the transmission, ma'am, when you purchased the car?
No, ma'am. He said that he had no knowledge of any, the signature of his is on the back of that title, just the transaction of the release of the title.
Well, I know, but was there anything, you don't have the Craigslist ask, you had anything else about the agreement when you purchased the car?
This is the as is no warranty that I retrieved because once I had told him that about the transmission, I let him know right after I found out from the mechanic, and that he said that he's very sorry that happened to me and that he's going to be looking for a transmission for me.
When did you sign this as is?
I did not sign it.
Well, so there's a signature on here. Whose signature is it? This is your copy, right?
Yes, ma'am. But there was no signature on it, and that was the first time that I've seen that.
Well, there is a signature on it. You don't see the signature at the bottom? This is a copy, but there is a signature where it says customer signature at the bottom.
No, I didn't.
Do you have the original?
Yes, Your
May I see the original, please? And this was in your paperwork?
This was in my paperwork.
Coming up on Judge Faith, will the witness reveal that information was withheld about the condition of the used car?
Everything seemed okay, but I felt like there was something wrong or something fishy about the car.
Plaintiff Carissa Olsen says she bought the car under false knowledge. She's suing for a payment refund of a car. Defendant Isaiah Way says he doesn't owe any money because the used car was sold as is.
You said you've never seen this document before?
No, but not to my knowledge, no. But I remember, I signed multiple papers as well when we were transferring the title.
You signed multiple papers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is the original. And yeah, there's a signature at the bottom. You're saying you didn't sign this? And it's here. It's on this document. It's just light because it's a copy.
Oh, this is my signature, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you signed that you would purchase this car as is, no warranty. What do you have to say? Were you aware that there were any issues with the transmission?
No, Your Honor. But when she requested I would take the transmission to her shop, we took the vehicle over there, and her mechanics told us that the engine and the transmission are solid.
They're solid?
Yes, solid.
Okay.
It is good. I actually have the report, the inspection report from the mechanic that did the inspection.
May I see it?
Yes.
The part that you want to show me?
It's transmission type auto, okay.
And this is the report that you received a copy of as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
And this is a mechanic that you chose, right?
This is a mechanic that was referred to me by a person that used to work for the shop as well.
But not from him, not from
no.
anyone he knows.
No,
So this is a completely independent mechanic that looked at the car?
This is a completely independent shop. It's called Affordable Auto
Right, but
Service.
it has no association with the defendant.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, what do you have to say, sir? Who are you?
I'm Dustin Wilbur, Crystal's boyfriend.
Okay.
I was there from the day one, from the get-go. I test drove it when we first got it. Everything seemed okay, but I felt like there was something wrong or something fishy about the car. When we talked to him later on that day, he was very willing to go down on the price. I just thought that was really odd.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
Here's the issue, because these used car sales can be tricky. Private sales, as is, unless the private person makes a specific warranty, it is by default as is, even if you don't sign something. But here we're dealing with a dealer. In your state, as a dealer, there are specific warranties that come with certain cars unless you actually sign a form that says it's an as-is sale, which you did in this case. Even if you didn't sign as is, the limit law doesn't apply to your car because it has too many miles on it and it's too old. The limit law actually stops applying when you get to a certain number of miles in your state. And this, with over 130,000 miles, it completely surpassed their mileage limit that applies in your state. So the only way you can get your money back on this is if you can prove to me that the defendant committed some kind of fraud. And when you have in front of me a report from a mechanic that he has absolutely nothing to do with, didn't refer you to, doesn't know, that said the transmission was good, you can't prove to me that he intentionally tried to defraud you when a mechanic looked at the car and said that the car was okay. And the reason why the laws are set up the way they are is because courts don't want to have to relitigate used car sales. A car with 130,000 miles and it's 10 years old, it's bound to have a ton of problems. You did the right thing by taking it to a mechanic. Most people don't, but still, by law, he's not required to refund you the money for the car. In this case, verdict is for the defendant.
I didn't feel like I had enough time. I didn't want to interrupt the judge because I felt that was rude. I didn't feel like I was given the opportunity to prove my case, that it was in fact a fraudulent case.
She just wanted me to take the responsibility to fix her transmission, knowing fully well that she signed a paper as is, no warranty, and she is accusing me of selling a lemon to her. I don't think she understands what a lemon law is.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court. Today on Judge Faith, a tenant and her former landlord are forced to face off in court over the details of their friendly arrangement.
I didn't have problems paying rent. I told John that I was leaving. I was basically going crazy in that apartment.
Yeah, I was angry with Olivia. I could not believe that she did this to me.
You're saying that he's bestowing all of these gifts and things on you. Why were you accepting them if you thought he was interested in you?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. Now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Olivia Smith says she and her landlord were cool until he became money hungry when she decided to move out. She's suing for the value of personal belongings and harassment. Defendant John Trojnar says he and his wife really liked Olivia, but they can't ignore the condition she left the apartment when she suddenly moved out. He's countersuing for past due rent and late fees.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Smith versus Trojnar.
Thank you, Juan. Olivia Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing the defendant, John Trojnar, for $6,346, the value of personal belongings and harassment.
Yes.
And you have a countersuit, sir, for $9,821 for rent, late fees, various cleaning charges, and miscellaneous charges that you will explain to me in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you both understand that the statutory maximum is $5,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as I understand it, Ms. Smith, you were a tenant.
Yes.
And you leased an apartment from the defendant for a certain period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
And after you vacated that apartment, you say he unlawfully kept a lot of your belongings and harassed you.
Everything.
Okay.
It's a lie. He kept everything.
Can you tell me the date you moved into his apartment?
I moved in August the 1st, 2014.
And when did you leave?
I moved out like August
You don't know the exact date?
No. 2015.
But that's important for your case.
Well, it was like August the 24th.
Of 2015?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of a lease that the two of you had?
I have it, but I didn't bring it with me now.
Do you have a copy of that, sir?
I do, Your Honor.
May I see it, please? What was your rent? How much were you paying a month?
My rent upstairs was $650, I believe.
You don't know that either? These basic questions I'm asking you are important for you to know.
Yes, I understand that, but I don't owe no rent at all. I have my last rent receipt.
I know, but that's his allegation.
Okay.
So you have your last rent receipt. How much is it for?
It's just state how much I gave him and how much I owed him, which I owed him.
And how much was that?
I gave him $4 something. I was like $225. I do owe him.
Oh, you admit you owe him $225?
Yeah.
He says it's a lot more. Okay. So let's back up now that I have a little bit of foundation here and I have copies of the lease. Who lived in the home with you in 2014, leading up to when you say you vacated in August of 2015?
Me, my fiance, and my kids.
How many children?
It was 2 at the time, 3 at the time.
3 children. Okay. And what happened?
Everything was just fine until the time that my fiance was murdered. And I told John, like,
when was that?
That was July the 9th of 2015.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I did owe John like $460.
He was helping you pay rent at that time?
No, because he didn't have no job. He started working for John in the process.
But he was living with you at the time?
Yes.
Okay. He was working for the defendant doing odd jobs around the building?
Like painting the other apartments, picking up trash.
So why do you say in your statement that then you had problems paying the rent if he wasn't really helping you?
I didn't have problems paying the rent. I told John that I was leaving for the simple fact that I was basically going crazy in that apartment. I'm hearing knocks at the door. Was he murdered in your apartment? No, but it just had everything played out with the murder and everything like that. And we started from the basement apartment to the top. We came up together and I'm hearing things.
Too many memories.
Yeah, too many memories.
You didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
That's understandable. That's understandable. So she doesn't want to be there anymore. Her fiance's murdered. She's 8 months pregnant. This is a, traumatic time for her. So I'm assuming that it wasn't an issue for her to move out early that August when she requested.
Box or you get on your stuff?
Coming up,
That's what I
the
thought.
damages to the apartment are disputed.
When we entered the apartment, we literally had a tiptoe through roaches, and there were soiled diapers in many rooms. Not one room, Your Honor. The smell was horrendous. There was holes and walls this big.
Plaintiff Olivia Smith says John is keeping her belongings because he is mad she moved out. She's suing for the value of personal belongings and harassment. Defendant John Trojnar says he bent over backwards to give Olivia a better life, but now he wants his rent money. He's countersuing for past due rent and late fees.
So what happens then? How do we end up in court and both of you have these lawsuits for thousands of dollars? She's told me that you were a good landlord. When she moved out, you didn't file a lawsuit against her for thousands of dollars,
It was
right?
our intention to file a lawsuit. We went and made a police report at the East Chicago, Indiana Police Department.
Why'd you make a police report?
When we had an agreement to meet, Olivia didn't show. And that was our final walkthrough. I was to get the keys. I was to walk through the apartment, check for damages.
What date was that, sir?
That was October 2nd.
Let's back up for a second. Hold on. You say that you left the apartment around August 24th, 2015, and you're suing him for thousands of dollars for stuff you say he kept.
Yes.
When you left the apartment on August 24th, did you take your things with you?
No, I did not. I went to Indianapolis to...
Why didn't you take your things?
Because I was coming back to get it, and we was only in a car. I was going to go pick up my
Did you go back to get your things?
I texted him. I said, I want my things.
When did you go back to try to get your things?
I didn't go back because he told me if I go back, he filed the police report, and I got that in text messages.
When was that text message?
That text message was like in August, September.
Let me see the text messages. You say you never went back to try to get your things?
I tried. I texted him. His wife said he's not in right now, but he wants some money. He wants $100. I said, okay, I got the $100. He come in, he say, no, your things is gone. I threw it out.
Yeah, can I give you a little background, please?
You can.
When I met Olivia, I, per se, just fell in love with at the apartment.
And why haven't you given those items back to her?
I have no way of contacting Olivia. She had changed her phone number. I have sent her texts and called her several times.
What items do you say you have, sir?
A couple of end tables, a metal with a glass top. There's like a wicker basket type thing. There's a little basket thing from the kitchen. I want to remind you, Your Honor, I gave her almost everything she needed. We gave her a couch. We gave her the TV.
Is that true?
Is that true that he gave you furniture?
He did give me furniture, but not the furniture that I'm suing for.
Okay.
He gave
What happened to the furniture he gave you?
the couch ended up getting bed bugs. We threw it out. The TV, it was a flow model, an old flow model, you know, the flow model TV. And it was going in and out, so we ended up throwing that out. And we started all over again, but we were still in the basement when he gave us that stuff. When we moved upstairs, we had nothing at all.
So why do you think why do you think your landlord, who you said was nice to you and then gave you these things, why do you think he's withholding your property now?
I don't even think he got it. Because if that's the case, when I asked to come get it, he would have came and got it.
This is what the property you say you have of hers, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You recognize this?
Yes.
Okay, so he does have some things.
When we entered the apartment, we literally had a tiptoe through roaches. And there were soiled diapers in many rooms, not one room, Your Honor. The smell was horrendous. And I could not, I was angry with Olivia. I was very angry. I could not believe that she did this to me. There was a doorbell with no bell. There was a thermostat with no thermal. There was fire extinguishers with just the brackets hanging. There was Bible sayings written throughout the walls in permanent marker. There was holes in walls this big.
Do you have any photos of any of that?
I don't. That was prior to me taking photos. I don't have any photos.
Any photos of the damage?
The police department had came and verified.
Let me see the police report. I mean, as a landlord, if you walk into that kind of situation, when the first thing you want to do as a landlord is to document it?
That would be, and that's what my wife wanted me to do. However, I chose not to.
But now you're choosing to sue.
Coming up on Judge Faith, did John have a secret crush? Or was Olivia just taking advantage of his kindness?
He had a thing for me.
Excuse me?
That's why he was just so nice. Christmas, he bringing cards with money in it and scratch off anything.
Were you interested in her, sir?
Plaintiff Olivia Smith says she paid her rent, and now she wants her property back. She's suing for the value of personal belongings and harassment. Defendant John Trojnar says Olivia walked out without paying her rent and left his rental unit a wreck. He's countersuing for past due rent and late fees.
Did you take a marker or you or your children and draw on the walls?
No.
That never happened? Were there any holes in the
No,
walls?
my sister paid him $100 to come stay. I do it.
That's not my question.
No, she's the one that wrote on the wall, and I told him that. And
So someone did write on the walls?
Yes. I'm not here to lie.
While you were,
While I was in her apartment, yes,
okay,
she did.
okay. So someone did damage the walls, and then what about all the other things he said
Everything
about the
else
roaches?
is glass. There wasn't any roaches at all. And I didn't even have kids in diapers. I was pregnant. That would have been my only baby in diapers.
And then here we have a police report from, October where he says on September 2nd, you were supposed to come in for a walkthrough, you were a no-show, and he's saying that there were all these items missing from the apartment, so he makes a police report. Do you have a police report?
Who, me?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Let me see the text messages you say you have. Because, I don't know how you're going to prove what was missing from your apartment. You have to show me what these items were that you gave her to use. Because it's one thing for you to do all of these things, but it's an entirely different scenario when you bring a lawsuit and now have to prove things in court. What you have to do to prove this in court, not just a police report, because I think there's some truth to this. You made a police report, but now we're getting to the point, how do you prove to me what these items were? How do you prove to me that those items in fact disappeared when she left, and then the value of those items? You're suing for all of these damages, but you took no photos. Because here you're in front of me saying the house is full of roaches, and she's saying there wasn't a roach to be seen. And you have no photos as a landlord. And at this time, I'm talking about your counterclaim, and it's your burden of proof. And I'm not here to try to figure all of this out based on just what's coming out of your mouth. I want to see something that corroborates what you're saying. So far, you have a police report. That's worth something.
She had a thing for me. That's kids. He's the best. It's not that, okay, I took it as he kind of sorry bringing my kids. He's the best. Christmas, he bringing cards with money in it and scratch-offs. Then he come to the door with his wife like, oh, I just love soul food cooking. I love you guys cooking. I want some greens and some yams and some chitlins. And his wife even gave him a look like, you know what I'm saying?
I like greens and yams.
Yeah, I'm text message, you will see why you do like it's like more of a different level, you know what I'm saying, than anything.
Were you interested in her, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Like I really do. I really was. Like seriously, like you treat me better than anybody in the and then he talks about my fiance, he's nothing, you're doing everything by yourself. Why is your job is to collect your rent money and go. And that first text is him accusing me for a cabinet. Why would I take a big tall cabinet and I have a
here's the issue.
74-inch TV in my
Let's stop. His job as a landlord is just to collect the rent and go. You're saying that he's bestowing all of these gifts and things on you. Why were you accepting them if you thought he was interested in you?
I didn't think he was interested until we moved upstairs when he made the greens come in. And I came to the door.
I understand.
But it just rubbed me the wrong way. It started off, I opened the door, I had blonde and black in my hair. I didn't even like my hair. Oh my God, you look very nice. You changed your hair. Everything just weird, you know, and then you doubt.
Well, when a man notices a woman changes their hair, that is a telltale sign.
Yes, he like, you changed your hair, that looks good on you. And then he, why you with him? You doing everything, you paying for everything. He need to get a job. You know, it's not your, you didn't say that about your father.
Did you say that?
No, Your Honor, I would never say like that.
Okay, here's where we are. Here's where we are.
40 years of marriage with talking this way or cheating. I take my wife to the building with me.
For a sugar baby, he thought I was in.
Here's where we are. These text messages, it's apparent to me, based on the text messages and what you all have submitted, that there's some property of hers that you obviously still have, that you admit. You say you couldn't find her. Obviously, she had a way to contact you about a lawsuit, so there was some way to get in contact with her, I believe, at some point before we got here today to say, yes, I do have some of your property. Once you notify that you're sued, you can at least have that conversation.
I texted and called her.
But here we are. You know, you are showing me these text messages where he writes you, where is the metal cabinet you took? It's $450. It's very expensive. Please put it back in my yard. It was not yours. That ceiling. Return it ASAP. You respond, I didn't take anything. I want my TV. Where's my TV? He's asking you about the cabinet. You're asking him about the TV. You have some of her property. I believe you took some of his.
No, I swear, like I did.
No, I believe you did. I believe you did.
Like, okay, can you go down and see him apologize then?
Miss Smith, I'm telling you what my judgment is right now, reading the text messages, the police report, and the evidence. I think you took some things that didn't belong to you.
I tell him, like, what I look like taking your cabinet. He say, oh, I'm sorry.
Arguing with me is not going to help you right now.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules.
No matter what type of personal injury case you're involved in, it's going to serve you best to hire an attorney right away. An attorney is going to help make sure that you're getting the medical attention that you need, and that you know where you can go, and that you're entitled to certain types of care. They can help get your, find out how much insurance is involved and what kind of coverage you have, whether or not you have medical payments. They will help you decode your deck page, your insurance policy, to figure out all these things. They are also going to help you put together your lost wages and keep track of that as you miss work to get treatment or because of your injury. Attorneys are paid on a contingency basis in personal injury cases, so you're not having to put any money up front. The attorney will actually front the cost if we need any experts or documents to review, or to get your records or anything like that, and you do not have to put any money down. You don't want to rush choosing the right attorney, so you don't want to get in a situation where you are worried that evidence is going to be destroyed, or you're worried that you're going to run out of time to file a case and you just have to go with whatever attorney was willing to take your case. You want to reach out to attorneys, talk to them, make sure they're the right fit for you and they're going to help you and your family, not just financially, but emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially. And you want to get them on board right away so that evidence is saved and preserved. The adjusters are notified on the other side. The defense attorneys are notified.
Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
So here's where we are after reviewing the claims that you submitted. Both of you basically submitted a laundry list of items you say the other has that belongs to you. These cases are already not easy to prove because you have to show me that you had these items and that they're now gone and that the other party is responsible for it. You both have shown me that you have items that belong to the other in some form or fashion. You showed me photos in the garage, you showed me text messages, and he has a police report. He went to the police after he approached you via text message about some of the items that were missing. So really the only issue I have left in this case, because it's not about what you can allege in court, it's about what you can prove. What have you proven in front of me today? Here's one thing I do know. You have proven that you paid for pest control right after she moved out. I actually think, and credit your testimony, that there was an issue. That was $115. As for the other items that both of you kept, and as a landlord, you should know you can't. You say you didn't have a way to get in touch with her, but at some point you obviously did because you're here today. You can't just keep everything because you think someone wants your money. You have to go through a system, and for whatever reason, you chose not to file a lawsuit and go on as if it were not a big deal, and now you're suing for $9,000. You know, in this other issue, you talk about how dirty she was and how filthy the apartment was when you empty? To do this walkthrough. Is that empty? People don't become filthy and hoarders overnight. At some point, you upgraded her from the downstairs apartment to the upstairs apartment during the 2 years she lived there. There's some real credibility issues on both sides. So I'm calling the property issue a wash. What you went through is terribly unfortunate. I can't imagine what you went through, but I can't base this case on emotion. I have to base it on the law and logic. Judgment in this case is for the defendant. He proved that he paid $115 for pest control.
He on foot. Your husband is a bitch. Truthfully, you tried to run. Think about moving, I'm gonna hit you.
Oh shit!
Go unconscious, please. My husband just dipped, bro. They say partners in crime, alright. I bet so.
People be looking for you.
You cannot run, lady. He was gone, so by the time.
Rehabilitation might be beyond them, but we may hope. There's your bounty. You sure wanted it.
Don't eat in your bed.
Plaintiff Kelly Rizal says she was frustrated with the defendant cut off communication after she has to be paid back. She's suing for a loan. Defendants Audra Heitzman and Michael Dunn Jr. say they owe nothing because they were in need, and the money was a gift from a longtime friend.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Roselle versus Heitzman and Dunn Jr.
Thank you, Juan. Kelly Roselle.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing the defendant Audra Heitzman and Michael Dunn Jr. for $2,500 money you say they owe you.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning? Tell me how you know Ms. Heitzman and Mr. Dunn.
I attended high school with Mr. Dunn, but we were reintroduced when they got together. I've been friends with Nikki since college. We were college roommates. I was in her wedding, and I am also the godparent to her children.
All right, so what's going on? Why'd you have to sue her in court?
I never thought it would come to this, but in November of 2014, she and I have been having conversations on the phone just about life, things that happen, good, bad, and indifferent, like we always do.
What city were you in at the time?
At the time, I was in Louisville, Kentucky.
And where were you living, ma'am?
I was in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati, and were the two of you living together at the time?
Yes.
Okay, and she's correct about how long she's known
Yes.
the two of you in a relationship?
Yes.
But now you're dating, right?
Yes.
Okay, why did you smile when I said that?
Because I don't know, I guess because you say dating, that sounds like a kid, but we are together.
Okay, how would you describe your relationship then?
I'm just more involved with each other.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, this particular conversation, she's telling me that she's having some issues paying some bills, rent, and some different things. So she's talking, you're beating around the bush, and I'm thinking, okay, what's the real issue? So eventually, Mike gets on the phone, and he said, Nikki, she's not going to ask you. We need your help. Not a problem. I'm there because I'm that kind of friend.
How much did he say they needed?
They needed $2,500.
Had you ever given or loaned money to your friends before?
Yes, so it wasn't a problem.
And they paid you back in the past?
We continued our conversation, and we settled on the deal that since it was November, we were going into the holidays, we could wait until after the first of the year and start a repayment plan. We all agreed.
Okay, so what do you say the conversation was?
That I need $2,500 or we're gonna be out on the streets and I need it by XYZ time. And meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out how I was gonna get this money because at the time he had some health issues and I was the only one working.
Did you have a conversation with her at that point about paying her back at all?
Well, yeah, I'll pay you back as soon as I get on my feet, as soon as I get in a better position, that I will make sure I get the money back to you. But I'm right now, today, still not in a better position. Our family is still displaced. We're still not doing the best.
And here we are over a year later.
Yes.
And you haven't paid her anything? Because you say you can't afford it?
I can't afford it, no.
They say they're still struggling. Do you not believe that?
The issue I had was earlier on in this issue, I was sitting at work and I got a notification on my phone because my phone is connected to my Facebook account.
Okay.
I looked down at my phone and it's pictures of the defendant and the co-defendant's daughter on an airplane taking selfies going to Vegas. Now imagine my surprise when I see this.
When was that?
When was the Floyd Mayweather fight? It was that weekend.
They went to the fight? Who went to the Floyd Mayweather fight?
My 29-year-old daughter.
We didn't go to the fight.
Who else?
We didn't go to the fight. We did not go to the fight. That wasn't the thing.
It was you and her. You went to Vegas?
Yes. His daughter, which I guess my stepdaughter, whatever you want to call it, she did it as a gift to me, as a surprise. I didn't even know I was going to Vegas until a week before.
Okay.
And that's the way I found out. I didn't spend any monies. I didn't buy any tickets. I didn't do anything.
Okay.
It was as a gift to me. And she did that for me.
And you don't believe that?
I don't know what the circumstances were that led to the trip itself. I just took it as a slap in the face. Here you stand, you owe me, and you're on a trip.
But you had talked about the money, her paying you back. Had you asked, hey, when can you start?
Like we said, we would start after the first of the year. The 3rd of January, I sent a text with all of my banking information telling her, just make deposits. I can't tell you what's comfortable for you, but just let me know that you're thinking about me. Whatever you can deposit, that's fine.
And what did she say in response to that?
Nothing. It took 30 days for me to hear something back.
And what was the response?
She said, I'm doing the best I can. I got a lot going on.
What
What you do with zero?
My friend is very, very stubborn. Extremely.
She's stubborn?
Very.
How?
I mean, it's about her money, but I mean, I know her from some other things. When I talked to her, I told her everything that was going on. So it wasn't a secret to her that I still was at a point where I was at zero. I was barely getting myself to work and barely keeping food on the table for my family.
Coming up, the friends disagree over the details of the loan repayment plan.
Just tell me something. I couldn't literally strong arm her and take the money.
She can pick up the phone and call me as well.
So she has to text and call you?
And later, a family confronts the landlord they claim kept them living in a house of horrors.
I got sewage coming up in the front of the house. I had told the property manager, have to go out and see what needs to be done. Mr. Cameron kicked them out of the property and wouldn't allow them to see all the rest of the issues.
Plaintiff Kelly Brazil says all she wants is for Audra to pay her back. She's suing Ramon. Defendants Audra Heisman and Michael Dunn Jr. say they owe nothing because the money was a gift.
I understand that you were going through financial difficulty, but here we are a year and a half later. You haven't paid $50. Nothing. So how long is too long to wait?
That would be up to her. That would be up to her. But basically,
Well, she's decided that now is
her
the
money
time.
right now. But
Do you have any of the text messages between
I
the two?
do.
I don't think she's stubborn. I don't think she's unreasonable. I don't think we'd be here if you had made what appeared to be a good faith effort to pay some of this money back.
I was just talking to her and she knew.
So she sent you the text in January with her account information. Just text me whenever you make a deposit. You don't respond to this for 45 days, so she texts you again and said, I was just going to see how long you would go without communicating. And then you text her back. And she's just saying, I want you to communicate. Because all of a sudden, you disappear. You know how when people owe you money, they don't want to be around you. So they kind of disappear.
I had disappeared. She knew, just like she was texting me, she could pick up the phone and call me as well.
Well, she has to text and call to get a response?
No.
All I wanted her to do was just to communicate with me. Not having the money, we couldn't change that. Just tell me something. I couldn't literally strong arm her and take the money. We've been friends too long, and we should be able to communicate. But you need to be trying to fix this with me, not the other way around. Okay, what do you have to say in response to that?
I was just going through a whole lot at that time, Your Honor. Just a whole lot between trying to hold my house together, and she knows me as well as I know her.
You can't sit here and say, like, you